Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. I'm looking in the right direction this week because I've got a new camera. I was always looking down last week because Tony's on my screen down here. So I'll look at him when I talk to him. Tony, magic round, magic weekend. How was it for you?
Yeah, we had 8 pretty good games, Steve. We had torrential rain at times. We had beautiful sunshine. We had controversial decisions. We had less blokes getting binned than the previous week, so the blitz was off. But yeah, we still had plenty of drama and plenty of unhappy coaches, players, and fans with the inconsistencies. And as we were saying off air, it's just the world we live in these days. They just can't seem to get the consistency, the officials, and the game's the loser.
I went up to Newcastle, Tony, and I thought of you over the weekend, but maybe not in terms you would think. I thought of you in terms of, geez, he's lucky he doesn't drink. That's what I was saying. Because it was very like my job was to just do score updates, so I kind of didn't really get to interact with a lot of people. I just kind of sat in the stand and said Joe Blow scored a try, scores 6-0, for rugbyleague.com, and so my interaction with people was done after hours, and and I was left feeling worse for wear. Ate a lot, drank a lot, but I had a good weekend. As you say, it's very similar. I thought there's some parallels in both comps. I don't know if the NRL are already running it. We just don't know. But um, over here, we had some sin bins previous week, and people thought they went overboard. Um, Again, as in the NRL, this week they kind of reined it in a little bit, but we still had some isolated decisions that caused debate. The St Helens centre Lewis Murphy sent to the sin bin for a high collision, like he went up for a kick, he lifted his knee, took out a Leeds player, and he was sent to the sin bin. So some people thought that was fair enough, that it was reckless. Other people thought it was outrageous and he couldn't have got out of it. And then, of course, Liam Knight was sent off for a shoulder charge right on half time in the Huddersfield Hull FC game. And when the charges came back, there was no charge. Yeah, it seems like the comps are kind of mirroring each other at the moment in that regard, Tony. And maybe the match officials and the players and the bunker/video referees, they haven't kind of worked out a level yet. The between them.
Sounds, Steve, like they owe Liam Knight one free shoulder charge.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's it. Contact was, not sufficient to attract a penalty, but yeah, Huddersfield got their first win of the year on the back of that decision to send him off. I don't think they would have won if he had stayed on the
Mhm.
Tony. Your main item in your column on nine.com.au, we always invite you to read the columns through the links in the show description, is about Jason Taylor and the Perth Bears. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, there's a push. Of course, Brad Arthur's the hot favourite for Perth, but there's a push from the old North Sydney Bears, who are obviously going to play a significant part in this merger, to have Jason Taylor, who, of course, was captain of North Sydney. Might have been the last captain of North Sydney. I should have done my research before we came on. He would have been close, but he played over 150 games for the Bears, one of their favourite sons. And the likes of Greg Florimo, who's the chief executive of the North Sydney Bears, they're pushing very strongly for Jason Taylor, who incidentally is assistant coach to Cameron Serraldo now at the table-topping Canterbury Bulldogs. So his credentials are pretty good. So it'll be interesting. Brad Arthur not quite over the line yet.
And Sam Burgess has been linked to that as well, Tony, hasn't he? And Wayne Bennett's come out and said, "Oh, his first job in the NRL shouldn't be a new club." So yeah, I kind of foresee, or I'm concerned that the tension between the locals and the Bears, it's not going to get less. It's not going to. The pressure's not going to be released. It's going to get more and more. And they're talking about James Bracey being on the board as well as a Norths fan, and there's no historical connection between the two, so I reckon politically it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, well, North's already been burnt once, haven't they? The North's Manly merger, the infamous Northern Eagles, that was never going to work. And Manly basically got rid of Norths, and that was the end of them. And a lot of Norths fans have long memories and are still bitter about that. So yeah, they're going to be a bit wary, the Bears, that they don't want to get screwed over twice.
I know we already touched on it, Tony, but Jacob Preston's suspension, you think he's a bit tough there, a bit rough?
Yeah, I do. It was for a what do you call it? What's the word for
Crusher?
it? The crusher to the neck. Yeah, the back of the neck. And as I was saying to you before we came on here, we went through 90 years of rugby league without me ever seeing a single player holding his neck like this and screaming. And now it seems to happen every 10 minutes. And it's an automatic penalty, no matter what. The refs just say, "Oh, you must have a sore neck penalty." And Preston decided to fight it. The problem is he'd already been charged 3 or 4 times before this year, just paid the fine and pled guilty, and got to play the next week. And I think that's what caught up with him. And he's ended up getting 4 weeks. It'll cost him an Origin jumper. I think he was a certainty for the Blues. And he's the Bulldogs' best forward. So they're really going to miss him. And if you have a look at the tackle, it's really a nothing tackle. There's 3 or 4 blokes there. They're all wrestling, trying to get him to ground, and somehow Preston was on top of it and deemed to be the guilty party. To me, it wasn't even a penalty. So it's he can feel very hard done by. And I know Bulldogs fans are expressing their rage as we speak, because it only happened a couple of hours ago.
Now, Tony, your team of the week, what you do each week after each weekend, any sort of origin implications for that, for the form of the players over Magic Round?
Well, I think James Tedesco, he's just mounting an irresistible case to get a recall. Dylan Edwards was fair in a Penrith team that played probably their best footy of the season, but wasn't outstanding. Whereas Tedesco was, he was probably as good as any fullback over the weekend. So that's probably the biggest call Laurie Daly's got to make. Does he recall a guy who he dumped last year, or does he stick with the team that won the series last year? So it's a bit of a dilemma.
Okay, Tony, you suggested last time that we do offer the viewers sort of little deals on merch. I know you've still got some t-shirts left, but not many. They're moving very quickly. Is that right?
Yeah, still got plenty though. I can almost fit my car in the garage now.
Well, I've got this week. I'm going to offer everyone. It's getting a bit colder in the southern hemisphere, warming up here. It's supposed to be since I got. It was freezing up there at the weekend in Newcastle, freezing. But anyway, I actually came back with a bit of a chest cold. It was so cold in the stands up there at St James Park. But nevertheless, Scotland hoodies were $40. I'm reducing them just for viewers to this program to $20 for a very thick and
Yes.
Scotland hoodie, half price. And now, because the Aussie website's new at Harold Horder with an a.com.au, you're going to have to email me and I'll reduce it. So email me at sales@wlfmerchandise.com, and then I'll reduce it just for you. You can go to the site, buy it, and then I'll put it back up again. So you've got to email me. Half price, $20. $20 is not even a round of drinks. You would know, Tony, because you don't drink. But it's about
That's
four.
true.
How many coffees is it these days? About 4 coffees. Is it $20?
Yeah, about that. And my t-shirts, fire sale, $10 each. Vegas t-shirts. You can still pretend you went to Vegas.
Awesome, awesome. Not sure about going there next year with some of the stories I'm hearing from the border, Tony. Anyway, we'll talk to you again. Midweek Scoops.
Sounds good.